corporate social responsibility and employee performance, right? And then as semicolon,
maybe you could repeat suggestion. There was a problem with you.
problem with my audio again. Okay, the OBS. Okay. Now the title, yeah, you just on the page of the title, corporate social responsibility and employee performance, and then the semicolon, construction companies in China or construction companies in whichever city you want to study, right? You remove the construction companies and make it after the the semicolon. So you can remove the word qualitative exploration. So normally we do not want to have the word exploration for PhD. Although I've seen that been part of a title, but then sometimes it implies that it is not deep enough. It's not it's not strong enough for a PhD. So omit the word qualitative exploration, replace it with construction companies in China or construction companies in whichever city you're studying. Yeah. You hear me, like Zhao Lei?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Reporter, you do not want the word reporter there. You can just put your name there. You don't even need the word report date. You can put date, is fine there, right? So there. Okay. So yeah, don't need reporter report. You don't need that. Yeah. Okay. The next slide. Here we go. Move the next slide. All right, this is good. I would suggest that you replace the word research context to the background of research, or research background instead of research context. Replace it with research background. Yeah. Right. And then number 2 is fine. Problem description. I think you have problem statement, right? Not problem description. Should be problem statement, number 2. And number 3, research objectives with an S at the back, right? Research objectives, usually research objectives / research questions, right? So there are 2 there in one slide. Number 4, research significance or significance of research would sound better. And then research methodology, all right. Okay, then move on to the next slide. Okay, here I want to make a couple of comments about your research background. Number 1, the text too small for anyone to see. Although if they strain their eye, they can read. But it would be something that's not advantageous to you. It would be something that is problematic and sometimes annoys the person who listens to your presentation. So this is what I'm going to suggest to you.
Okay.
You can retain all this text. You can read the text separately, but what you replace it with is you replace it with some kind of infographics or some keywords. So you can have keywords and then you explain the keywords, that would be better than what is it? Rather than reading the text, right? So what you want to, you can show infographics, right? I can't even see it here. So you can talk about past research. That's one infographics, right? Past research, and then you have arrows, corporate social responsibility, HRM, and then you say internal CSR practices. So you come up with some graphics to show the first point, the second point, the third point, right? Or you just put some bullet points, summarizing the first point, the second point, the third point, the fourth point, right? So research background, make it much more legible, much more visible for people to see, to read, and then you can still have this text to be read separately, but you have the text. You do not have to show the text, otherwise it'd be too strenuous for people to see, to read. Right? Okay, but I do think what you have here is very good because you have established that what is it? Yeah, you established a strong point here because you're talking about what is it? Yeah, you're talking about the manufacturing sector. Sorry, construction sector where there are a lot of injuries and all that, right? And a part of it, I can also see that one of the what is it? Yeah, the part of China companies, China's MNCs, China's engagement with the world, right? We're talking about globalization, internationalization, which is what you were interested to study at the beginning, right? Involves a lot of construction work. A lot of work that is done by China overseas, right, is about infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is very much a Chinese ability, right? So Chinese companies are very good in construction, right? So and it is an export capability that Chinese government has and Chinese companies have. So maybe you can talk about it a bit as one of the points you want to highlight, right? So if you talk about China's problem and contribution to the world, by instituting and understanding CSR and how CSR can contribute to a better working conditions, a better what is it, environment where the safety and security of the employees are being taken care of. It'd be much. It'd be a good thing for Chinese companies, right? Reputation of Chinese companies. So, if we say, well, if the Chinese companies come to any country, the standards of employees CSR are higher than the standards in that particular country. So that is actually a good thing. So people will have respect. People will say, oh, the reputation wise, the Chinese companies are well respected. So that is one case you can make about the research background. And in fact, China has established in a few years ago, I think the last 5 years, I'm not sure, the Asian Infrastructure Bank,
Yeah.
if I'm
Yeah.
mistaken, right?
Asian Infrastructure Bank. Yeah.
Yes, and see infrastructure, right? So construction, big part of infrastructure is about construction. So China is very good, very involved in this, and has done a lot of infrastructure work throughout the world, more or less, right? Maybe not throughout the world, but big part of the world in Africa, in Asia, in Indonesia as well, right? Malaysia as well, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, right. This is a good point to highlight, I think, right? Good point to highlight. Okay, so and what you have here is very good because you're making a very good, strong case for your study, right? Let's move to the next point, the next slide, which is your problem statement. Very good. I read through and I think this is a good problem statement you're making, right? So your a number of things you highlighted, which is the idea of how you highlighted about the idea of hypocrisy that corporate hypocrisy that might be felt by the employees. So that is actually a very important point that you want to highlight, right? Again, your text again too much there for people to read, and either you turn them into bullet points, right, or phrases, bullet points, or again another infographics, right? And then you can still read, but you do not want to show the entire paragraphs. In one slide like this is again it's strenuous for the the committee to read the points you're making. Now, the equally important, Zhao Lei, when um, you might not want to, if you read, you want to be able to read in a way that you are presenting rather than it sounds like you're reciting. You know what I mean? It's not like,
Okay.
I'm talking. It's like you're explaining rather than reading. Like so
How to play a good presentation.
just be yourself, Charlie. But be your best self, right? So, for instance, you say, however, the majority of what majority of research assume a CSR as good. So the emphasis is different, right? You can repeat certain things, you emphasize certain things, so you make it much more yourself, right? So because you are making certain points here, I can see that, right? So you talk about, so it is hence necessary to stand, but to stand at a neutral stance, right? So certain things you want to make it clear. I can see that you're making certain good points there. So you make that points, like you're explaining it, you're emphasizing as a point. So what I usually do is that I get the key essence I want to convey and I convey them, right? So you need to know what the essence in each paragraph or the essences of each paragraph, right? The heart of that paragraph, and then you convey it, right? But if you find it more challenging that way, you can still read, but you want to emphasize certain words then, right? So you noted down about the problem statement there, right? Let's go to your objective, research objective. Let's go through a line by line this time, right? So scope employees, CSR perceptions, as well as their attitudinal and behavioral responses in Chinese construction companies. All right. Um, uh, so okay, we will go through. We go to aim to explain how CSR influences employees' performance. There's an S at the end there. Yeah. To achieve this goal, the study considers employee CSR's perception and attitude as their yeah. So let's disconnect again. All right. Yeah. All right. We gotta wait for Zhao Lei to come back. Okay. Zhao Lei, are you there now? Not yet. Not yet. Hmm.
It's okay.
Now you're back. Okay. Okay, so tell me something. Timing wise, is afternoon better or morning better in terms of connection? Charlie, can you hear me? Huh? So-
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm asking you a question right now. Is usually in terms of connection, right? Where you are at right now. Is morning better or afternoon better in terms of connection, internet connection?
Maybe at the afternoon many people will use the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So in the morning will be better, right?
Yeah, morning is
Maybe.
better.
Good hypothesis to test and yeah. Okay. We can, and so we will take note of that. So when you make the presentation to the committee, we'll want to schedule it in the morning, right? And
Thank you.
right. So you also want to think of a double system for presentation, just in case. Okay, this slide, referring to this slide again, let's look at your slide again. Objective number 1, to explore employees' perceptions of their company's CSR practices, to explain the process by which employees' attitudes are influenced by their CSR perception, to identify the process by which employees' attitudes influence their work performance, to develop a new theory to interpret the influence of CSR practices on employees' performance in the Chinese context. Okay, here we will go. We will mix the methodology with the research questions. Yeah, research objectives. Now, you want to look at the perceptions as well as the attitudinal and behavioral responses. That's what you state there, right, Zhao Lei?
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as behavioral responses are concerned, are you going to observe, or what are you going to do with that? Are you, or you want, how are you going to do the behavioral responses? How are you going to capture data on that one?
Maybe I'm going to interview the employees and collect their the data, and then I'm going to make the thematic analysis.
Okay, all right. I get your point now. All right. So you are looking at the perception, the attitude, and the perception, or the meanings, rather, might be a more appropriate word again, right? The meanings they attach to their behaviors, right? So you want to know their behaviors and the meanings they attach to the behaviors, right? Because you are actually not necessarily measuring their behavior, you are asking about their behaviors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to see the what you want to. So first you want to look at their perception of the CSR practices, and then you want to look at the attitudes towards CSR practices, influence on that. You want to look at the process by which employees' attitudes influence their work performance. Okay, a new theory. All right. Okay. Good. I can basically understand what you plan to do here. We might come and revisit your research objectives or research questions, right? Because once we revise or we relook, we understand the research methodology, we might revise your research objectives or research questions here. Okay. So the essence of your this one is want to see how the employees understand or interpret the company's CSR practices. You want to see how the employees interpret their behaviors, and you want to see how the attitudes of the employees influence their work behaviors, their work performance, and you want to see the connection of the CSR practices to their employees' performance there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Research significance. I can see the significance is actually to offer a new theory. All right. To explain how CSR influences employees' performance. Now, I'm not sure you call this as significance. You're making the you can call it the well, and another way to overcome this labeling thing is you can call it research contribution slash significance. You just throw in the word contribution there. Yeah, just insert the word contribution to this slide. Right. First, this study differs from previous ones that quantitatively confirm the impact of CSR on employees. This study is expected to offer a new theory to explain how CSR influences employees' performance according to the employees themselves. So you insert the phrase according to the employees themselves. Is that okay, Zhao Lei?
Yes, it's
Okay.
okay.
All right.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's
Yeah. So the first point I told you is to put in the word contribution before the word significance, or you can put after significance and so significance and contribution, or research contribution and significance. You can just lump it together. It's fine. The other point I'm suggesting to you is to put a comma at the end of the first before the full stop, to offer a new theory to explain how CSR influences employee performance according or based on the employees themselves. I forgot what I said just now. From the point of view of the employees, right, something like that. Basically, it's a theory that is explained, constructed by the social actors themselves, right? Okay. Second, the study chooses a neutral view to exploring how employees are perceiving CSR practices, both positively and negatively, which is different from the assumption CSR is good, right? In this way, the study offers new knowledge about the positive and negative sides of CSR from perspective of employees, are key stakeholders. Okay. Uh, I think sometimes the idea of positively and negatively is kind of limiting. There can be more perspectives than just positively and negatively. And you can throw in. I'm just going to add some words here to help you qualify your sentence. Yeah. So this study chooses a neutral view to exploring how employees are perceiving CSR practices. Okay. This study chooses the insider's view instead of a neutral view, insider's view of exploring how employees are perceiving CSR practices, the insider's view, right? Both negatively, positively, negatively, and 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 all its related dynamics, something like that, right? So, and all its related dynamics. So it can be positively, negatively, mixed between positive and negative, or fluctuations of positive and negative. You never know that. Positive in this way, negative in that way. So, which is different from the assumption that CSR is good, right? So, in this way, the study offers a new knowledge about the positive. The study offers a new knowledge about the connection between CSR and employees' performance. Based, okay, offers a new knowledge about the connection between CSR and employees' performance according to the employees themselves, or based on the social constructs. You can make it sound more theoretical, or based on the social constructs of the employees themselves. Sounds much more social scientific now, right? So instead of you can add at the end, you want, as employees are the key stakeholder in this study, right? Okay. Third, this study also offers significant HRM implications for Chinese construction companies. Managers could use the findings of this study to integrate CSR in HRM practices to better promote employees' positive attitudes and behaviors in work, which increases organization competitiveness. So we can use the word managers slash government, or policymakers, or labor advocates, labor advocates. So we are not just looking from the point of view of the companies, right? We are looking at the point of view of many multiple stakeholders. So there's managers, there's policymakers or governments, there's labor advocates, even society, right? Even society could use this finding of this study to integrate CSR in HRM practices to better promote employees' positives. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay, that's good. This is good. You got my points. Anyway, we have this in recorded, so you can view afterwards as well. All right. We go to the next slide. Zhao Lei, right? All right. Methodology. All right. This is fine. This is good. If you get this from a source, please cite the source, right? If you are not getting this as source, then or a combination of sources, you can also say that. You can say it's coming from this source and that source, and you just combine it, right? I will go back to the inductive and interpretivism afterwards. We'll talk about it in more in depth later, slightly afterwards, right? So did you get this from a source? From a reference?
Uh,
Zhao Lei?
can you repeat your question?
Did
Sorry.
you get this from a particular reference, from a particular source? This graph.
Yes. I use the Research Onion
All right.
to
Okay.
construct my methodology.
Okay. Then you want to quote that, right? You want to put that. You want to cite that there your reference. Okay. Make sure you do that. Now go to the next one. All right. This is interesting because interpretivist philosophy and what you're doing there is you said you're doing inductive, right? Okay. And you quoted that. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Let me understand what you plan to do as well as far as methodology is concerned, right? You do want to ask the employees directly, am I right?
Yeah.
So, okay. If you want to approach the employees directly, okay, the aim of the study is to provide, as you state there, the aim of the study is to provide new knowledge by developing a new theory rather than confirming. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. The author argues. So the word is not author anymore. The word is researcher, right?
Researcher.
Researcher. You haven't written anything yet, so you want to replace with the word researcher. The existing theories provide problematic explanations about the impact of CSR. So remove the word impact, replace with the word connection.
Okay.
Connection of CSR and employees' performance, especially in the Chinese context, right? Hence, the author expects to contribute. So the word author replaces everything, yeah? It might be a small thing, but sometimes the people who sits in the committee might be picking on small matters that they might find be problematic. In this way, the inductive approach fits the aim of the study. Let's move on to the next one. Qualitative approach. First, okay. The second point, the qualitative method is a majorly exploratory, and so that line there is a bit, the grammar is a bit problematic there. The qualitative method is majorly exploratory. So remove the word majorly is weird. It's a bit awkward. Maybe you do not want to use the word exploratory, right? You are going deep right now. You're not just exploring, right? Okay. The qualitative method provides the researcher okay, with considerable flexibility in the. All right. This is where becomes what is it? Yeah. Uh, risky, a bit risky. Now, go on to the next one. Go on the next one where you talk about your semi-structural interviews. Okay. So you'll be using semi-structural interviews.
Yeah.
Or semi-structured interviews are implemented. When you say semi-structured interviews, can you give me an example?
Um, just like what I said in my presentation, the questions will be predetermined. For example, I will ask the employee how their companies are implementing CSR practices and how they evaluate these practices and how their attitudes are influenced by these practices.
Okay, those are not semi-structured questions. Those are open-ended questions, right? So semi-structured question, you have something that is structured, and then and then you leave space for people to answer that's not structured. But what you have there is open-ended question, which is good, which is the right way to do it, especially if you want to get to the employee's own perception and meanings and insights to how they view the CSR practices of the company, right? So instead of saying semi-structured interviews, replace that with in-depth interviews. In-depth interviews, which is much more apt, which is much more appropriate, right? Suitable for what you're doing. Okay. Yeah. Now, the point I want to clarify. Is there another slide after this? There's another slide after this, right? Is there? Okay. Suitable employees. Sample size or sample. All right. Before we go to the sample size, the part that I want to clarify is your inductive or abductive approach. Now, the question now, is it an inductive or abductive, right? So if it's inductive, you are doing the construction of theory yourself. But if it's abductive, you're letting the social actors create their own explanation. As far as I understand from what you have presented, is that you are building a new type of theory or knowledge, right? That is based on the social actors themselves, based on the employees themselves. So you're leading to much more abductive research strategy rather than inductive research strategy, right? So if it's inductive research strategy, you are actually while interviewing them, right, you are constructing the theories yourself, right? Abductive is where you let the employees define the constructs, define the concepts, and let them develop a theory to explain the perception of CSR, the perception of the connection between the CSR and the work performance, right? So the way I understand is that you're getting the insights of the employees. Uh, you are not constructing it on your own, right? Am I right, Charlie? Or man, am I?
I have a little confused about abductive. I think my research is through observing and interviewing to get more information. And then establish a new theory. I think it's inductive.
The observing part. How are you observing that? The observe,
Uh,
if you say observing, that could be a good inductive research, by the way. But how do you observing?
maybe just interviewing.
Interview, right?
Yeah,
So
interview.
interviewer, because you won't be able to, at this point. At this point, it's hard to access the construction companies and conduct an observation, non-participant or participant observation there. Now, if you're observing and you are, say this is the difference. I tell you the difference. If you're observing, if you're doing abductive research, if you're inductive, you observe and you can construct the theory by observation and by interviews. You can do that because your observation is part of your data of building that theory, right? So that's inductive. So the observation is data, the interview inputs, interview responses are also data, right? So you can construct the theory. So, and that theory must come from yourself, right? That's inductive. But if you do abductive, if you carry out observation, you see, well, I see that you are moving slowly when you're doing this work, right? Right. So you go back to employees. Were you moving slowly, or what do you think about this behavior? So they said, well, you're right. I'm moving slowly because I do not like this work, because I hate it when so you confirm your observation with the employees. So the employees will confirm your observation and they will give meaning to your observation. You do not give meaning to your observation, right? So, or they say, oh, I'm moving slowly because I'm tired today, right? So it's nothing to do with whatever, right? Uh, so you do not make your own conclusion about your observation, right? Now that is abductive, because all sources of data come from the social actors, because you're abducting their point of view, right? Inductive meaning you're building from the data upward, right? So whatever data that comes to you, you're building the data upward. So from the theory, from the data, it can be the interviews, it can be the observation, it can be text that they write about. They do WeChat, what do you call it? WeChat, right?
Yeah,
WeChat and all that. And you can analyze their text, and then you can so that can be inductive. But if you do not have observation, and can you see the difference now, Charlie? What I've explained so far?
Um, I don't know whether I understand it, and you mean it's determined by whether there are observation.
Observation is meaning, okay, it's not necessarily determined by observation alone, right? Okay, if you're doing inductive research, right, you could be collecting data based on your own understanding of the reality.
Um,
You see what I mean? So if, for instance, you are interested in employees' performance, okay, you'll be studying, okay, I'm interested in productivity, I'm interested in punctuality, I'm interested in quality, I'm interested in the, what else, yeah, the efficiency of resource usage, right? So you actually have your uh, own constructs, you have your own concepts you want to study, and then you look at those concepts either through interview or through observation, and you collect the data. So the lenses are your own lenses, and that's inductive.
uh,
You see the point? Whereas abductive, the lenses are not your lenses. The lenses are the social actors' own lenses. The way they see the world will be based on the way you collect the data is based on how employees see the world.
uh,
You see the point? The
This is abductive.
abductive. So
abductive.
you abduct them, you what is it? You kidnap them, to use them to see the world, use their eyes to see the world.
I tell you, you should see multiple behavior. You can then
Capture.
capture what the practical behavior can explain or message this.
So you're asking them what behaviors are relevant. You do not come up with the behaviors, right?
So what we capture is what their thing, their thought,
Only their thoughts. That's
not
right.
their behavior.
And their behavior, of thoughts of their behaviors. That's right. Yeah, the thoughts of their behaviors, right? Not your thoughts about their behaviors. see the Zhao Lei, rationality of the actors. Actors. Yes. So you might see that the behavior is relevant to you or the manager, but that's not how the social actors see as relevant, right? So there might be a linkage that the manager see or the company see, but not a linkage that the social actors see. So if whatever actions that they see as relevant, that is the one that you will explain.
The explanation is important.
The explanation is coming from the social actors. Yes, what Raja said that. Yeah. You hear what Raja said just now, Zhao Lei, which means it's not your thoughts about their behaviors, it's their thoughts about their behaviors. We just present, we are analyzing it, right? Doesn't mean that you cannot ask questions about different behaviors. You can ask questions, right? So that is abductive research. You can ask different questions. You can ask as many different questions, and they will tell, well, that's not relevant. It doesn't matter. So in their worldview, the world, you're capturing the worldview. In their worldview, in their paradigm, certain things are relevant, certain things are not relevant, right? So that is the one that you want to capture. So if you want to, and this is very suitable to your research questions, Zhao Lei, when you want to understand, you want to build a theory of why employees act in certain ways. You ask the employees, right? Why is CSR is effective? So they say, well, the manager say, look, I give them money, incentive to do things, but they are not interested to do things. Well, the employees do not see money in this way, given in this way, is a way to motivate them. Maybe, yeah. Maybe not, right? Or to some of them is motivating, to some of them it's not motivating, right? Or you say, well, I created the company say, look, who can sell more than 100 units will get to go to Hawaii, right? So for instance, they say, who can, the number one, number two, number three best marketeers can go to Hawaii, right? All right.
Observation on senior.
Let me finish and then I'll come back to you. Just follow my logic a bit. So, for instance, companies come with the policy: the top 3 best salesmen or saleswomen can go to employees, right? Can go to Hawaii. So they compete. Oh, you get top 3, right? The next year you get another top 3, or maybe the same top 3 person, right? But we want the whole workforce, the whole marketing force to be able to achieve, because we are creating a competitive, marketing team, right? But no, it doesn't happen that way, right? Only certain people are motivated. Then you say, why? 3% can make it, the rest cannot make it. Well, the 3% can make it. They keep on keeping the secret to themselves. Because they go to Hawaii, if they share the secret of how to market, they cannot go to Hawaii, right? and the rest of the marketing feel that they are being favored, their favoritism, right? So it creates people feel, what the heck, I do not care anymore. Only the three get the benefits of the company, right? But if you change the strategy, say, who can market more than 100 units, they can go to Hawaii. So people say, oh, okay, right? I do not have to compete with anyone. All I need to do is to market more than 100 units, right? So I can go to Hawaii. But all this is in the mind of the marketeers. All this is in the mind of marketeers. And they will interpret the dynamics, what it means to go to Hawaii or not in their mind, right? I know this. I remember I was taking care of the one of the, well, many of the hostels over here, and the hostel boss often said, we want to go to family day. Family day will take you to the beach and all that, right? Only 3 or 4 persons are interested. The rest are not interested. Why? Why? We're giving you free and all that. Well, the rest have families. If they go, they cannot bring in their families, right? They cannot afford to bring their family. They're taking weekend off, going to the beach, and then the rest of the children do not go to it's bad. So you want to have a policy, you got to ask the employees themselves what it means. You call it a family day, but you do not bring the children of the family. That's counterproductive. So going back, Zhao Lei, to your point here, right? Your research strategy is actually being determined, right? Is being decided by your research questions. It depends on what research questions you want to ask. If you want to ask a set of research questions that is, from what I heard from you, that is constructed by the employee's own insights, then abductive research strategy is the way to go. Inductive research strategy cannot deliver what you want, cannot deliver your objectives, right?
Okay.
Because the abductive research strategy will be able to do it for you. Right? So all you need to do is to switch to abductive research strategy right now. And adaptive research strategy uses interpretivism, very much so. The interpretivism of the social actors themselves. So in this case, it's very suitable, right? So all you need to do is to align to the right research strategy. And you can use the word in-depth interview, which I use this now for you. Or you can use the word phenomenology, which is much more sophisticated, much more established research method, right? Because phenomenology is a method that is very strong in social sciences, and it gets to the meaning. There's the meanings people attach to their behaviors, to policies, to certain realities, so that is even more, much more suitable if you use the word phenomenology. If I'm not mistaken, Ko Salma is using phenomenology as a method as well. So that's where I'm directing you to if you want to pursue your research questions, research objectives there, right?
Okay.
So, the other thing about research objectives, if you can go back to your research objective, let's go back. I told you we were going to revisit your research objectives. Research objectives, right? So what you want to do is actually next to the research objective is to have research questions as well. So what you have here, right? You go to aim there to explain how CSR influences employee performance. You want to say how you are interested to explain how CSR is connected to employees' performance, right? To achieve this goal, the study considers employee CSR perception, attitudes as the antecedents of job performance. Okay, you want to remove the word antecedents. So antecedents is very much inductive or deductive word. So in abductive, we do not make assumptions about the perceptions and attitudes as antecedents. So you can just remove that statement there. Corresponding, there are 4 research. So you just remove that statement. Objective number 1 to explore employees' perceptions of their company's CSR practices. I would suggest you replace the word perception with meanings, right? To explore the employees' meanings of their company CSR practices. So the research question that goes together with this is, what are the meanings attached to their company CSR practices? What are the employees' meanings attached to their company CSR practices, right? So the second objective to explain the process by which employees' attitudes are influenced by the CSR perception. So you can say, this is a bit tricky. What explanations, you can replace this, what explanations do employees give in connecting the CSR to their attitudes, right? What explanations do employees give in connecting the CSR to their attitudes? Maybe you want to use the word work attitudes, right? Work attitudes, right? Yeah. Right. Number 3, to identify the process by which attitudes influence their work. And then you can say the same thing. What explanation do employees give to connect their attitudes to their work performance? Right? Okay. And number 4, to develop a new theory to interpret the influence of CSR practices on CSR performance in China. So, okay. If you want to go with theory, you can say what is the theory that can explain the connection between CSR practices and employees' attitudes and as well as their performance. Because there are 3 there, right? CSR practices, employees' attitudes, and employees' performance. There are 3 there.
Yeah, 3.
Right, yeah. Okay. There's something else I wanted to say here. There's it. Okay. The other thing about this, Zhao Lei, is the idea of there might not be one explanation to this dynamics of attitude, CSR practices, CSR attitudes, and CSR and employees' performance. There might be different patterns of explanation, or sometimes these patterns can be captured into typologies, right? So that is a possibility, right? So you might find that different employees have different typologies of explanation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some employees see the connection, the dynamics of CSR, attitudes, and performance in a certain way. Some might see it in a different way. Right? So you can see typologies emerging or patterns emerging, right? So you can also you can talk about to develop new theory to explain the patterns of connection, right? To explain the patterns of connection. So number 4, to develop a theory to explain the different patterns of connection between CSR practices, employees' attitudes, and employees' performance. So I like the word typologies, but you that is something that you want to think about later on. By the way, you can improve your research objective research questions along the way when you see the data more. Yeah.
Okay.
Is this clearer, Zhao Lei?
Yeah, it's clear.
It's clearer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So this is I'm just fine tuning of what you want to do. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
do you want to construct a new theory of CSR that is based on the employees' own meanings of CSR, their attitudes, and their performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there might be a few explanations that they might emerging. So what will be exciting is this, where you can see different patterns of attitudes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
some people might be motivated by financial gains. Some might be
Yeah.
motivated by the social side of the CSR.
Mm-hmm.
Some might be influenced by the excuse me, by the integrity or the honesty of the CSR practices, right? Or the type of CSR practices, right? What's interesting is that I know banks like we talked about this last time, right? I know banks that call we want a more human, we want to humanize banking, but you look at the back room of the bank operations, right? Is is hellish. It's like a hell working in those backroom operations, right? I have relatives working in backroom operations of banks, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, right? Even under COVID, COVID, and then the pandemic, right? They are forced to work in separate entities, and they continue to because the banking industry want them to work at different hours because it's the whole world. Well, in
Mm-hmm.
New York, London, Beijing, and Singapore and Hong Kong and all these different countries work at different hours, right? So they want 24-hour kind of a company, right? So it's strenuous, it's crazy, it's inhumane. But this bank says we want to humanize banking. So the employees get even frustrated. You talk by humanizing, you have inhumane working condition in the bank, right? And yet you talk by humanizing, right? So this is interesting. So, by the way, the other thing that you might want to note, Zhao Lei, is the CSR practices. There's also CSR policies, right? CSR policies. So, but you can put them all together: policies, project, practices. You can put them, but eventually it will lead to CSR practices, of course, right? So the CSR policies, practices, projects.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's based on projects. Sometimes it's based on policies, and uh, I've studied CSR a bit before. So in your sensitizing concepts, right? If you do abductive research, you do sensitizing. There's CSR outside of the company. There's also CSR inside of the company, right? So that's another thing you want to look at. How are they taking care of the employees? That is employee social responsibility, which is part of CSR, by the way, right? And employees' social responsibility is one of the part is most lacking in a lot of companies. Usually, they use CSR to advertise to the world or to do public relations to the world, right? So, employees is the least concern. Oftentimes, not all, but some companies want to attract the best brains, the best talents. They will make their social responsibility, internal social responsibility, as attractive as possible. Like look, we give free lunches, we have swimming pools, we have games, like Google, like whatever, like Apple, they like to do that, right? I suppose Huawei will have the same thing, right? The Huawei campus environment. I guess I don't know for sure all of the tech companies, but many tech companies want to attract talents, right? So it's important to not just recruit but also to retain, right? So they have good employee social responsibility, so to say, right? So sometimes they give them shares, right? They do share, right? Share, meaning the employees also have shares in the company. So if the company does well, they get dividends from the shares. So they do that. And when they depart from the company, they lose the shares, which is bad. You know? So that's another way of creating loyalty. But you're right, Zhao Lei, in construction companies, right? The construction industry, oftentimes the perception is employees' well-being, employee safety is not well taken care of. So it's crucial, it's important, right? To look into this sector. I think this is what you're doing is really meaningful. What you're doing will contribute to a real CSR, not just fake CSR. CSR, not just a greenwashing, not just a whitewashing kind of CSR. And if China can really establish itself as a country with good construction industry practices, that would be wonderful. That would beat a lot of the countries of other companies of other countries who are coming into other countries to develop infrastructure, right? Yeah, there will be the Japanese companies, there will be the South Korean companies, and some of the European companies as well, right? So I think in Penang, our second bridge is built by a Chinese company, partly, but not all of it, right? I think similarly with so certain parts are built by Chinese companies, certain parts are built by European companies, I think. So which is interesting. Both, yeah. And if you look at the twin towers, the KLCC, the twin towers, right? Twin towers is built by two companies from two countries, right? This is the brilliance of Mahathir, right? One is Japanese, the other one is Korea. So Mahathir knows that the South Koreans and Japanese are very competitive. So they do not want South Korean to win. So the Japanese will compete with. So you see the construction of the Twin Tower, it goes like this. One will try to outbeat the rest. Right? So we have this nationalistic, Japanese is better than South Korean. Korean say, well, I'm better than you. See who's competitive. So Mahathir was using the competitiveness. So you like this, like they're trying to compete with each other, right?
Eventually, I get the result.
Okay, I'm gonna get the result. You can find out who won, by the Japanese or the Koreans. They say, I remember in manufacturing, right? In construction, right? If you want to build it good, high quality, you go with the Japanese, right? You want to go big, you go with the Chinese. They can big project, right? You want to go fast, you go with the South Koreans. So these are the different reputations supposedly of the construction business, right? So I remember that. It so happens my father a long time ago.
All of them, I've not dealt with all of them.
They built it on there.
The same project.
The same, yeah. But you can have a three towers there. Anyways, what is it? So, Zhao Lei, what maybe in the next stage, the next step for you is to revise your slides. You share your slides with me. Maybe if I look at the slides, it's good. I think the next step we can schedule a date for you to make your proposal defense. Yeah. You're confident to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm happy with the progress. You're making you're working like the South Korean right now, working very fast, right?
Is that the reputation of Japan?
Quality, high quality. Yes. Then that's one of my interviews with the Indonesian migrant workers. Right. So look, I'm trained by the Japanese. My quality of work is high. My craftsmanship is high. Right. He is involved in construction, so he has small construction team. He build playgrounds and all that. So the craftsmanship of the Japanese is well, look at Japanese cars and the Korean cars, right? People go, Japanese car, okay? It's like that, right? manufacture Japanese and car and German car is a different idea. So, but that even the craftsmen they know and the Indonesian migrant workers. I was trained during the to build the KLCC, the Twin Towers. So this is another interesting part, right? We often forget, like I told you before, right, Rajesh, right? We often tell, oh, when I visit parts of Indonesia, well, this is built by the Dutch, this part is built. I said, no, it's not built by the Dutch. It's built by Indonesians, right? Right, some Dutch what? Towers. Indonesians and maybe some, I don't know who other migrant workers were involved in that, right? So, Bangladeshis. If you look at the Marx conflict theories, right? They say, see, we remove the labor from the whole understanding of construction, right?
Like Taj Mahal, who built? Of course, the people built the
People, not the king who built Taj Mahal, right? Right. We have been colonized by this capitalist system by thinking that the capitalists who built this world. No, the workers built this world. Right? I don't mean to be.
railway in Australia.
Afghanistan, Australia. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, the term Shanghai, right? You're in America. They have this term. These people are being Shanghaied, which means these people are being captured, right? Because people that when they built the railways, rail tracks, they Shanghaied people from China to build the rail tracks. Among the people who built the rail tracks in United States were Chinese. Yeah, Chinese.
I think many companies in the United States depend on the Chinese.
Now especially more, and then financially too.
There was the movie about the
Jackie Chan movie. Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Night, or something. Yeah. So the indentured labor, right? They have debts they pay through their labor, right? Anyways, that's a different story, of course, right? So if you look at the Marxian analysis of all this, is to bring back labor into the discourse, and to bring back labor into the analysis, right? Right. That's
so if what they call the
yeah.
Subaltern can speak.
Yeah, you can give the yeah. So yeah, the simpleton, yeah. I remember that conversation I had with Alan Spector, by the way. One of our study groups I had in United States with this a progressive professor named Alan Spector, and when we came back in his car, the wheels were punctured. Yeah. So we helped him repair the tire and all that. I said, he was actually look at this car. Imagine the person who fixed this part explains. So I was thinking all the labor that comes in, right? The workers. Right? All this while I was thinking, Ford, Chrysler, General Motors, right? That built the car. But he was pointing out, no, this is the labor, the workers who built the car. It give me a different perspective at the time, But again, he's a Marxian, hardcore Marxian there. Anyway, Zhao Lei, are you still there? Huh? Lost again. Oh God! Right. A few seconds ago. It's okay. I think the message has been conveyed now. Okay. Huh? Disappeared again. All right. Okay. We just open the open for discussion. Zhao Lei, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're back. All right. Okay. You're connected to our group supervision again. Any questions, any points you want to raise, or maybe some of you would like to suggest or comment? Already 6:30 as well now. Oh, time flies, right? Zhao Lei, you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Any anything else you want to say? Anything?
No, I will change my my approach into abductive.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And I will to learn more about this approach.
You're going to say that again?
Hello?
Yeah. Say that again. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm going to learn more about
Okay,
abductive.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
One good source of reference is just look up phenomenology. Phenomenology. Yeah.
Phenomenology. Okay.
Yeah. So you're actually looking at how you're looking at CSR as a phenomenon right now. How the employees interpret CSR as a phenomenon and how the CSR phenomena is influencing their attitudes and their behaviors. Right? So CSR as a phenomena, right? And how that is linked to other parts of the social reality based on the social actors who are the employees themselves.
Okay.
Which is the stakeholder that you're interested in, right? Yeah, so I'm using a lot of social scientific words because we are in the social sciences, but not to say I do not understand management. I know that the stakeholders is very much a management word, but just like yeah, of course. I'm a management student before I turned into sociology too, right? But yeah, okay, Charlie, if you okay, we will adjourn it there because after all it's 6:30 right now. I'm happy that you have made fast, very good progress, very meaningful progress, right?
Thank you.
In a few months, you have come to this stage right now. So we will, once you show me the slides, when ready, we will go ahead with scheduling your presentation. So after that, before you go to the field, we want to do the chapters, writing up the chapters first, right? Chapters 1, 2, 3 after that. But you want to make the presentation then, right? Okay, you still have all your friends there. Your friends, anyone has anything to say? No, I see. Oh, there. Who's that? Who's that speaking? Anyone is speaking now? You, okay, I know, all right. Oh, I see Hansen, Iko, Kai Lai, Mutadi is over here. Chang is here. Oh, Iko, how are you, Iko? Iko is back in the hometown. Waalaikumsalam, Tullah.
Nice to meet you here.
Good to see you, Iko. Good to see you.
I just missed the session.
What's that?
I missed the session.
Oh, you missed the session in
Yeah.
Nilam room. Yeah, I see Chang there, Kai Lai.
Hi, Iko, how are you?
Hi, Chang. Hi, Kai. Charlie. Mukadi. All the best for your paper.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bring with you bakso.
What is it? Sorry, pardon?
Bakso.
Bakso. Oh, yeah.
I think famous food in Indonesia, bakso. Popular food.
Sorry, I cannot hear you. Your sound is not clear. Muhtadi.
Okay, no problem.
He's asking you, is it bakso is a famous food in Indonesia? Yeah,
Sure, bakso is my favorite food. Indonesian favorite food.
Indonesia. But don't forget, bak is actually a Hokkien, a Chinese word.
I see.
Bak,
Yes,
bak in Hokkien means
Okay.
meat.
Yeah, it's from
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah,
think
it's a come from meat.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
Mhm.
meatballs. That's what it is. It's a meatballs.
Meatballs.
It's meatballs. It's meatballs. Small meatballs, big meatballs, pregnant meatballs. They have different words for it. They even have pregnant meatballs because the meatballs have eggs in it. Have other meatballs in the meatballs. Small meatballs in the meatballs. Right. Yeah. But so the famous food in Indonesia is partly Chinese.
It's from Chinese too, Prof. It's
Yeah.
culture from Chinese too, I
Of
think.
course, bak is a Chinese word, right?
Yeah.
Bapia. Yeah.
Bapia, bakpao.
Oh, the bak is Chinese word. Hokkien. Fujian.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Bakmi.
Bakmi, yes.
Meat, but it's specific, man. Pork.
Oh, that's a tu bak. Tu is Chinese. Tu is pork. Pig. Right. In Hokkien, Fujian Hua. Hokkien. Hey, Zhang, am I right? Are you Hokkien, Zhang?
唔是，
唔是。
I'm not, but I can understand a little bit.
Oh, yeah, what? Cantonese?
Hakka.
Hakka. Oh, 客家人。
客家人啊，客家人。
客家人哦，OK。Chinese
Yeah,
translation, yeah.
八卦。
哦，客家人，Hakka 客家人啊。
Yeah, 客
对
家，
客家 is 客家 is from northern China. They migrated southward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correctly.
right. Yeah, they're from around the palace. That's why they call ke, meaning guest. Guest. The guest. Kejia guest, the guest
Yeah.
people, right? He's from the palace people. Bangsawan. He's a prince or the one of the prince or
The loss of prince.
lost of prince. He might be the last empress, from Tang dynasty or from Yuan dynasty or from
Yeah, the migration started from the late Tang. Yeah,
late Tang. There you go.
late Tang.
Which is one of the glorious dynasties in China. Ming, Tang, okay, all right. So
China. From Penang or outside?
he's from outside Penang, in Perak,
Perak, yeah.
southern to Penang. Yeah. Perak is where Michelle Yeoh, the famous actor. She was in James Bond, one of the old James Bond. Star Wars juga ya? Star Wars. Michelle Yeoh is Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Trek.
No, she's in that Crouching Tiger with Chow Yun-fat. Crouching Tiger. She's from Perak. She's a martial artist, by the way. She's a great martial artist. It's Donnie Yen. Yes. Yeah. At that time, I'm in a film, Michelle Yeoh, so he's the same state as Michelle Yeoh, Zhang there. So he has all this kung fu going on with him. The wushu. Oh.
Same city, Ipoh also.
Huh? What?
Ipoh. Yeah.
Ipoh, yeah. Oh, same city. You're from Ipoh as well?
Yeah, I stay
Oh,
Ipoh.
Ipoh Mali. Okay. What cafe? Ipoh Cafe. All right, guys. If you do not have anything, we call it day. It's been a long day.
Thank you very much for the session, Prof.
Welcome very
Yes,
much,
Prof.
Iko.
Charlie.
Happy to see you all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Prof, Alhamdulillah, the IPS already sent the updated confirmation about my 5 fast case.
So Iko's Viber will be on 31st
December.
of December, the last day of the year.
of the year.
And then you can celebrate New Year. Yeah. Yeah.
Please always your
31st.
guidance and advice, bro.
Yeah. If you look at 31st of December, it is also a Friday.
Friday night.
Also Friday.
Friday night.
Yeah. Friday is a good day to have Viva because people will have good mood, you know. Right? Right? It's also a good Muslim day as well, right? A good mood where people say, okay, let's not have long Viva because we want to go back. Well, that's not the reason I chose that. Okay. Anyway, all right. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Okay. All right. We'll see everyone another time. Well, please come to Muzakir's Viva, which is scheduled on Friday next week. Yeah, next Friday. We will have one more session before the Viva, but we will let you all know. I'll find a good time. All right. Okay. We'll see you. Okay. See you all. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good day. Have a good evening, rather. All right. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Charlie.
All right.
Ciao.
Enjoy the dinner. Enjoy bakso. Okay. Oh, sure.